Okay, quiet, eyes up front. Okay, so today we're going to work on solving proportions. A proportion is an equation that states two ratios are equal, i.e. two fractions. 1/2 equals 3/6. That's a proportion. Okay, proportions are extremely useful. Okay. Cross products. The cross products of a proportion are equal. We'll talk about that in more detail in a minute because that is the easiest one-way, guaranteed way in order to solve any proportion is to use the cross products. Please quit playing with the food and drink. If it's a problem, we're not going to have it in here. Thank you. Now, proportions are extremely useful. If you've ever had to mix anything following directions on the back, those are proportions. You know, you buy something to concentrate, you got to mix it up. The cleaner, it's harder to find nowadays than it used to be, but Simple Green, it was this organic green, good for the environment cleaner. You looked on the back of the bottle, it says, well, you can use it for laundry at this proportion. You can use it for cleaning your countertops at this proportion. You use it for your floor at this proportion. Most cleaning products will have something like that. If you don't use it directly on there, you mix it with something else. Pine-Sol's that way. You mix it, and it'll tell you the ratio to mix it at. That's a proportion. Okay, they're very commonly used. Whenever you are you are using a recipe, you are cooking with ratios, and if you double or triple a recipe, you're essentially doing proportions. Like yesterday, I made biscuits for breakfast. I did half again. I used proportion. Yeah, I know. Okay, cross product property. This is extremely important because this is how you're going to solve almost all the problems today by using the cross product. If I have a proportion such that A over B equals C over D, where B and D are not zero because we're never allowed to have zero in our denominators, then we multiply across. A times D is equal to B times C. And it makes it easy to solve, which is what we're going to do to solve. So, for example, 3/4 is equal to 9/12. The cross product says that 3 times 12 is equal to 4 times 9. And 3 times 12 is 36. 4 times 9 is 36. Cross product will allow you to solve any proportion very easily. That is how you're going to solve almost all of them today. Okay. Matching units. With proportions, make sure the units in the numerator match and the units in the denominator match. If I am comparing miles to hours, the units in my numerator and this are miles, the numerator has to be units, has to be miles, and the denominator has to be hours for every one that I use. Not hours per mile. Okay, nobody ever uses hours per mile. Yeah, you might use hours per gallon. Miles per gallon is how you measure car efficiency. Hours per gallon is actually how you measure boat efficiency. If you've got a motorized boat, they go by gallons per hour. How many gallons do you burn in an hour of motoring? Because it's hard to measure distance miles with a boat, not like a car where you have the wheels turn and you can measure how many times the wheel turn. With a car, with a boat, it's harder to do that. So they actually do gallons per hour in the boats. You learn something new every day. Even if it's meaningless, you still learn something new every day. Okay? Now, I like proportions. They're some of the easiest problems to work. Here are some examples. Okay, when solving a proportion, use a multiplication property, i.e. use the cross product. So, 7 times 12 is equal to 8 times m. That's what you do. You multiply across. 7 times 12 equals 8 times m. 7 times 12 is 84, thank you. So 84 is equal to 8m. And this is easy to solve. We've solved lots of problems like this. What do? You divide both sides by 8. And that goes in 10.5 times. M equals 10.5. Normally, I don't like using decimals and stuff for answers like this, but it's easier to do. Okay. Second example, same idea. Use the cross product. 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is equal to 3 times p. 3 times p. 4 times 5 is 20. Is equal to 3p. Divide both sides by 3. P equals 20 thirds. And you can just leave it just like that. I love proportions. They're very easy to solve. Really, it's just cross multiply, and then it's a one step after that, generally speaking. Okay. Your turn. Do those other two problems. Okay, let's go ahead and do these. Same idea. 4 times r is equal to 3 times 10. 3 times 10 is 30. 4r equals 30. Divide both sides by 4. Yeah, that's 3, I know. R equals 30 over 4, which is 15 over 2, or 7.5. If you really want to do that. Yeah, if you wanted to give me 7.5, I'd take 7.5. That'd be fine. Okay. Same thing here. 2 times d, 2d, 5 times 5, 25. Divide both sides by 2. D equals 25 over 2, or that would be 12.5. 12.5. Maybe good too. Questions?
Nope.
Okay. Now, it does not matter what your numerators and denominators are. If you have a proportion, the cross product will always work. Now, these are a little more difficult. There we go. These are a little more difficult because they're a little more complicated, but still the same concept holds true. 5 times b plus 3. 5 times b plus 3 is equal to 4 times b minus 8. Cross multiply. Doesn't matter how ugly the fractions are, this will work. And believe me, I've done a lot uglier than this. Still do the same thing. Same start. A lot of work, still the same start. Now we have to solve this. First step is to distribute. 5 times b, 5 times 3, 5b plus 15 equals, multiply, distribute. 4b minus 4 times 8 is 32. Looks nasty, but trust me, this will actually work out really easy. Yeah, subtract 4b from both sides. And you get b plus 15 equals negative 32. Subtract 15. B equals negative 47. Okay. Trust me, it works. It's just kind of a pain. Yes, ma'am, what's your question? B plus 3, b minus 8, plus 3, minus 8, plus 3, minus 8. I'm sorry, my 3 is just one of those things, and the more excited I get, the worse it gets. And I know you guys don't get excited, but this stuff gets me going. I'm a math kid. It gets me going. Okay, I'm sure there are things that you guys like that I can't stand. Okay. It's life. Okay, 4 times W plus 3. 4 times W plus 3 equals 5 times W plus 1. 5 times W plus 1. Cross product. Works every time. And now you simplify and solve. We've done these types of equations before. Yes?
That's -1.
So the -1, thank you very much. Thank you very much. See, at least one of you is paying attention.
We're all paying attention.
I said at least one. I didn't say everybody else wasn't. I said at least one. Okay. Distribute the 4. 4W plus 12 equals, distribute the 5. 5W minus 5. What's smaller, 4W or 5W? 4. Subtract 4W from both sides. 12 equals W minus 5. Add 5. 17 is equal to W. You've solved it before. The first step is the only new thing. We've done the rest of it. The only new thing is that first step of the cross multiplying. Yes, ma'am.
Can we put the letter over here?
What do you mean?
Like for the 17.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. They're equal. Equal matters. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
If A equals B, then B equals A. It doesn't matter if they're equal. But you should get comfortable with it on either side, so it doesn't make a difference. You should get comfortable with that. Okay. So do that one. Do your problem. Okay, let's go ahead and do this one. Move it up. Okay. So cross multiply. 6 times k minus 5 equals, guys, thank you, 4 times k minus 4. Distribute the 6. 6k minus 30 equals, distribute the 4. 4k minus 16. 4k is smaller, so I subtract 4k from both sides. And I get 2k minus 30 is equal to negative 16. Add 30 to both sides. 2k equals 14. Divide by 2. K equals 7. Questions? Okay, last one. Word problems, and you have some word problems in your homework. Word problems for gentlemen, please. Thank you. Word problems with proportions are some of the easiest to do. They are the easiest. I think the easiest word problems to do in algebra are ones with proportions because they're the easiest to set up. First thing you do is you figure out the 2 items, not numbers, 2 items I am comparing. In this case, it's gigabytes and songs. So I set up ratio of gigabytes to songs. And then I plug in my numbers into my proportion accordingly. So I have 2 gigabytes gives me 500 songs. 2 over 500 equals 80 gigabytes over how many songs? I don't know, so I use a variable. That's what you do. That's how you set it up. Okay? Now, gigabytes to songs, gigabytes to songs, gigabytes to songs. My units are the same in every one of these. If I flip them over, it still works. Because if I flip them all over, it still works. It doesn't matter. You figure out the 2 things you're comparing, set up the proportion accordingly. Now solve, cross multiply. 2 times x is equal to 500 times 80. What's 5 times 8? 40.
40,000.
With how many zeros? 1, 2, 3 zeros.
Million.
So you got 40,000.
X equals 40.
Divide both sides by 2. So I can get 20,000 songs. It sounds like an old iPod. I had a 120 gig iPod. It lasted me about 11 years. I think it holds major songs. Yes, ma'am. Gigabyte.
Oh. You would not.
GB, gigabyte.
You can't understand your life.
GB.
Anyway.
Okay,